What's going on, everybody? It is your boy Chris, man. We are here at the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. It is Wednesday, February 12th, 2025, a couple of days before Valentine's Day. Those of you that have that special someone, I'm sure there's going to be a special day for you. No question about it. My name again is Christopher Drummond. I'm a freelance sports reporter based out of Minnesota here and proprietor of this podcast, Work Hard, Play Harder, where I bring individuals on and talk about their why and get to know them outside of their occupation. I got a special guest that's coming on with me today, and she's a returning guest of the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. Her name is Meagan Glover. She is a sports reporter based out of Louisiana, and we're going to talk to her about some recent events that's been going on. There's a lot of stuff New Orleans that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about anything new. We're going to also throw some get to know you questions in there as well. Spice it up a little bit more so than just a regular type of podcast that we do. So without any further ado, I introduce you the wonderful, talented, and the beautiful Meagan Glover.
Let's see. You good? Cool.
Hello there. How we doing, Meagan?
How you doing?
I'm doing good. It's been a long time since we got on this podcast together. How's everything going for you?
It's been very busy. It's been very busy. Just coming down from Super Bowl and now all this Saint stuff is going on. So yeah.
Oh yeah, we got a lot to talk about now. We're gonna dive into that because we know you out there in Louisiana doing your thing as the sports lady, as you would call yourself. So we know you doing your thing out there doing that.
For
Um,
sure.
Absolutely. Like, first of all, I just want to say thank you for allocating your time as a returning guest to the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. Um, I just was down there in New Orleans for
Hmm.
Radio Row Week and Super
Oh,
Bowl. It's
nice.
madness, absolute
Yeah.
madness down there. Um, I want to talk to you first about getting a chance to cover that. I don't know if you covered a Super Bowl before or Super Bowl week like that, but talk to me about your experiences before I get to my experiences on what you felt or how it was down there in New Orleans.
Man, it's an experience you can't beat. It's like you might go in with expectations and you get like way more. Because I
Mhm.
worked a full week. I was only off on Wednesday, which I can't remember what exactly happened on Wednesday anyway, but just between opening night and the
Yes.
NFL honors and then the game itself and then all everything else in between. It was just it was a lot going on, but definitely an experience that you can't really put into words. But I've just been truly very grateful.
Very grateful myself. I got there Sunday night. So Sunday night was my birthday, February 2nd.
Happy birthday.
Um, Thank you so much. And it was great to get there. Got there like 10 something. And Sunday night was cool. Monday, opening night was
Hmm.
quite the experience. So first I had to find a barber. I had to get a haircut. So it was trouble. I was in my I don't know if you ever heard of the Jung Hotel.
Hmm.
Yeah, okay, so I was in the Jung Hotel. I went down, got me a barber. They was nice, laced me up real good. I was loving
Yeah.
it. Now, opening night was quite the experience. I've never did a Super Bowl, never covered a Radio Row Week, never did an opening night. I'm so used to watching this on TV. The media room was packed.
Yeah.
I mean, there was so many people in the media room. It was
Six
so much
thousand.
food. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying 6,000 media members were approved. So yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I didn't even know. I didn't even know the number with that. When I got on the field, Megan, I got elbowed in the head because people was trying to get to the spots to get these. It was crazy. They had like a
Yeah.
little section blocked off. For those of you that will watch this once I post this. They give you a section to where you can go and kind of talk to different players and coaches. So you have 53 players on a football team. There's only 8 to 10 people, including coaches and players, that get podium spots. So that means the rest of the players are walking around with the same place with the media. So the Chiefs get their spots, the Eagles get their spots, each of them get an hour. So it was absolute madness
Yeah.
going around. I'm sure you were probably there on the field. I did not get a chance to see you, which I'm so mad. So mad that we didn't get
All
to
the people
connect.
that was there, I barely saw my
But we
coworker.
absolutely we was just swallowed up, right? It was crazy. It
Yeah.
was madness. Talk to me about opening night and how that was for you. Who did you get a chance to talk to? What was a memorable conversation that you had with someone?
Well, I want to pick up with your explaining of how people were separated because yes, to your point, it was about 8 to 10 or maybe 10 to 12 players that had their own riser. And then, like
Right.
you said, like all the other players and coaches were just like everywhere else. It was kind of just find whoever you could. So for
Right.
us specifically, before, and I'm so glad me and my coworkers went in before the players had gone to the field. We were really just
Mhm.
going in to kind of go check it out. Well,
Right.
that was like an hour before opening night had officially started. Well, we saw all these cameras set up at one podium and the same amount of
Mm.
cameras set up at another podium. So we're trying to see whose podium that is. Of course, Saquon Barkley's. The next one, Jalen Hurts. So we were like,
Right.
oh, well, for us here in New Orleans, covering Devontae Smith, who's from Amite, he's like a
Yep.
part of our, our local tie. So we was
Yep.
like, I I said, I will stand in front of Devontae's because there was only one other camera there. I will stand in front of Devontae's riser. Y'all need to go get a camera. And I just like pick out our spot and it worked out great. We wound up getting a really good shot. Cause I mean, you got only so many cameras that can fit right in front. And then everybody
Absolutely.
else kind of climbing on top of each other's shoulders to get whoever that person was. So my coworker wound up talking to Devontae Smith. Luckily for us, I was probably the second person that got a hold of Kellen Moore early. So
Okay.
it was definitely like killing this, killing that, killing like we was able to ride on that sound for a good bit of the week because that was the only time
Mm.
I talked to him. And so I talked to him. I wound up talking to NFL Network insider Tom Pelissero that night. Wound up talking to CJ Gardner Johnson, and of course, who used to be a former Saint.
Yep.
And that's all the people that I personally talked to that night. As a whole unit, my coworkers, we talked, like I said, those three. We talked to Justin Reed, who's another local for us. We talked to Zach
Yep.
Bond. Um, oh, I talked to Doug Nussmeyer. I take that back. He's local. His son, Gary Nussmeyer, is quarterback for LSU, of course. So that's another local tie for us. And yeah, we just kind of killed the coverage with that. Of course, our priority was definitely Kellen and Devontae.
Absolutely, obviously, and we'll definitely get into that for sure of
Mhm.
why that was priority. For sure, I can remember talking to Nick Bolton, talking to the linebacker for the Chiefs, asking him kind of a different question. I asked him what his favorite cheat meal was. Wanted to try to see that. He said double waffle at Waffle House. He said Waffle House is his go-to.
Yeah,
He said, I
smart
said, I
man.
already know, bro. I already know. He said, yeah, you know. I ended up talking to him, Andy Reid.
Mhm.
Um, I miss Kellen Moore because I wanted to talk to him because obviously there was buzz around him.
Yeah.
But I
He was
did miss
kinda
that.
tucked away.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely. Um, Talked to a few other players, but media members, Jen Hale, that was the person that
Mhm.
I really, really liked talking to. And I talked to her, and she was just amazing. And I ran into some media people that I know from different states that were coming there, but it was just a madhouse. And same, my dad ended up calling me when I was on the field, and he was like, "Son, I'm watching on TV, and I'm trying to spot where you at." I said, "You're not gonna be able to.
Right.
You're not gonna be
Where's
able to spot
Waldo?
me."
Yeah.
Right, right, right. So, but he was so excited and happy that I was on the field, and that was great. That was awesome. But that was open at night. I was there for about 4 hours. My
Mhm.
feet was barking. I don't know about yours, but my feet
Yeah.
was definitely barking after the end of the night. So, I ended up going back to the hotel and doing my thing for Monday. Now, let's talk about Radio Row. Now, did you get
Mhm.
a chance to experience Radio Row?
So, I did a little
Okay,
bit.
okay,
Um, are you familiar with, Laura Oakman who works with Fox
absolutely,
Sports? Yeah.
yes.
So Laura is one of my mentors, and she's
Okay,
been one of my mentors since like COVID, but I've
okay,
never been in the same place with her. Like she's always been hard for us to get together. So her and her mentorship group, Galvanize, they were
hmm,
interviewing people as well, just
yeah.
interviewing like every other entity that was out there. So I had my interview set up with Galvanize that day, and yep, ran in, talked to them, kind of mixed and mingled. I took a little bit of a look around, but I couldn't stay long because I had to start getting ready for NFL honors.
I got you on that. Saying so Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, was my a chance to be able to go around. Tuesday we had a lot of interviews for a lot of different doctors where we sat down. I went with the BS3 network. It was 4 of us that went here, and we got a chance to interview different doctors. Tuesday was the day I talked to Laura Oakman. I've known Laura Oakman for a while, like you said, never been in the same room with her. But I went up they were sitting down at the table, and I said, "Excuse me, miss, can I talk to you for a minute?" And she came over, and we kind of just broke bread with each other. We had to reintroduce each other because we met each other virtually. And I told her she's doing an amazing job. For those of you that don't know what Galvanize is a program that Laura Oakman started where she brings different students and reporters into her program and typically goes around the states. She's done one in Dallas, I know. She's done one in Atlanta, I've known. She's done it in different states where she has NFL rookies be interviewed by some of her proteges that are there. And it's just an amazing experience that she did. And she had a little booth over there, a little corner, a little table that she was bringing people in. And I got a chance to talk to her, and she will eventually be on my podcast as well, which is amazing. So we definitely exchanged numbers and did that. But Megan, I mean, the people that was there that I got a chance to talk to, which is absolutely amazing. Pat McAfee was one of them. He was big time. Cam Newton was another one. He was big time. Talked to a lot of different media members. Sarah Spain was one that came to mind. The problem that I had was, or the wish that I would have had was, I wish I would have stayed Thursday and Friday at Radio Row, because Thursday and Friday at Radio Row was completely different from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Really?
It was jacked up even more.
Because more people started to come in.
Oh yeah, more media people, more athletes, more big stars. Their Radio Row, it was absolutely insane. I didn't care about my feet barking on those days. It was just amazing. Talk to me though, because I know you said about Kellen Moore, and obviously we now know that he's officially the head coach of the New Orleans Saints. Talk to me about the process of what what the Saints went through as far as interviewing for their coach and why they were dead set on Kellen Moore.
Well, I'm not even sure about if it was dead set necessarily. It was more our options have ran out. And not to say that in a disrespectful way, because I actually want to steal what Tom Pelissero was talking to me about. He said that the Saints moved methodically. I guess like the example of Mike Vrabel. He was right off the table immediately with the Patriots, right?
Yes, he was.
But I know the Saints were they were definitely interested in Aaron Glenn. They were definitely interested in in Joe Brady, who decided to stay with the Bills. And it's kind of like, our hot guys are kind of making their own transitions, so they're off the table. Right. So I think in the event that, we like Kellen. We've talked to him once and we know he's on this Super Bowl or at the time it was the NFC Championship run. We want to talk to him. And I think that is now our guy. I believe Aaron Glenn was the favorite, and that was a fan favorite too, for sure. But like I said, once they fell off. So I know the Saints had traveled to Philadelphia right after that divisional game, the NFC Championship game, to go interview Kellen, and knowing that he was going to be here. But the thing is, they couldn't tamper with him being here for the Super Bowl. So I think that definitely played like that aggressiveness. Like they went to Philadelphia immediately that night. I heard that the meeting ran extremely long into the hours of the morning, essentially. And so I think the Saints had, in a sense, they had the upper hand in waiting. I know that, between organizations, between fans, it's like, who we got. But you get a Super Bowl champion, and it was after a while, like it was almost expected at that point. It's just like, okay, when is he signing the papers after the Super Bowl? We're just waiting on the news to officially drop. So I think it's very, I do think it's commendable that the Saints decided to kind of sit back, let Kellen do what he does. They practiced in the Saints facility this week. They had the Saints locker room as well. They were able to kind of watch him work, and he did a hell of a job.
He did. No question about it. The Bensons over there, if I'm not mistaken, they're the owners of the New Orleans Saints, did a great job. And what better way to get a Super Bowl champion that's pretty much had one of the highest ranked offenses in every stop that he's been in with the Chargers, with the Cowboys as well, and now with the Eagles. Now you get an offensive minded coach. I'm reading different things, Megan, that Brandon Staley might be a leading candidate for the defensive coordinator. I've been seeing different reports on that. That's reuniting Kellen Moore and Brandon Staley. How likely is that reunion going to happen?
It sounds like it's heating up. I don't
Okay.
have too much insight on it, but I mean that's what I'm hearing is that he is the
Yep.
favorite
Mm-hmm.
as far as that's concerned. So it'll be very interesting. He's actually talking tomorrow,
Okay.
if if I can say that, but he is talking very soon, and
Mm.
it'll be very interesting to see how he kind of puts together not this offensive staff, puts together his staff, excuse me, and
Yeah.
just kind of watch what the Saints do, but for the draft, before free agency and everything, get his guys in
Yep.
place.
Yep, that was my next question because now obviously with the draft, the Saints definitely have some needs. Quarterback is probably one of the needs that they definitely should address. I would say obviously our offensive line. I mean, there's a lot of different positions with teams like that. Unfortunately, with the season that they had, what do you think they should address, in your opinion, as a critical need right now?
Well, I'm gonna say my opinion, but I'm gonna tell you what they're gonna do. They're gonna go for a lineman in the first round. I will be pleasantly surprised if they don't. But that's just always what they've historically done, with the exception of Chris Olave a couple years ago,
Got you.
which
Got you.
was a great pick, a great
Hmm.
decision. I have to applaud them for that. But I think I think the quarterback situation is definitely at the top of the list, if not the top, the second, because it's
Yeah.
like, what do you do with Derek Carr? What do you do with his contract situation or his guaranteed money, however that looks like? Yes, you got
Mm.
Spencer Rattler, you got Jake Hayner there. And look, I think these are guys that if they are in the right position, whether that's with the Saints or not, I think they can grow. We've seen Spencer, who's gotten more opportunities over Jake. We've seen him grow in different ways. I just think he was
Hmm.
dealt a bad hand. You got a depleted team, you got a depleted offense for sure. And
Yeah.
then he goes in tough situations. You play against the Commanders, you play against the Green Bay at Green Bay. Just some other tough games that, and you expect him to make rookie mistakes as well. So,
Sure. Sure.
despite those, I think it says something to his caliber, to his demeanor, because he is still a fan favorite out here, despite he hasn't won a game. um, but I think that is definitely, the quarterback is definitely a situation to be discussed. If the Saints are at full strength, they have receivers. The receivers are there. Um,
Yeah. Wonder
Running back,
how Olave will come back. That's for sure.
Olave will come back. They use Shaheed as both that and a
Yeah.
returner, of course.
And they got
Um,
Scantling too, MVS, which was
they
a
got
pleasure at the end of the season.
he was, and that's the thing. Will he come back? He had him on a 1 year.
That's
So,
true. Very
but
true.
if I was the Saints and you got a big body experienced vet like him, hey, like he showed you he can do it. So
Why not?
they paid Alvin a lot of money. So running back will be addressed as well. If Clyde Edwards-Helaire back. Um and Kendre Miller, who had a tough outing as well. He would be injured quite a bit. So, but I believe they have a lot of vets on the defensive side. Of course, a name that continually comes up is Cam Jordan, who is
I was just about to ask you about that.
time and time again said, I want to be a Saint for life. So him, Demario Davis, which in hindsight, Demario and Cam are not old, but they're old because of their age. They've been in the
Right.
league. So,
Right.
I mean,
Right.
neither one of them are even 40, like not even close to 40. So
Right.
those will be the conversations as well. Tyrann Mathieu, who's not
I
even
was gonna
35.
say Honey Badger. Is he gonna be back?
Let's hope so. That's the thing, it's just like, what do those contracts look like? Is it restructuring? Is it
Yeah.
pay cuts? So yeah.
Absolutely. I love that. Let's talk about the NFL honors. Now,
Mhm.
while you was at NFL honors, I was at Nightcap, which
Okay.
if people don't know what Nightcap is, that's Shannon Sharps and Chad Ocho Johnson show was at the Mahalia Jackson Theater. I was there live. Wow. Very interesting conversations going on there. No question
Was
about it.
it? I'm gonna have to go
Yes.
back and look at it.
Oh, yes. There was one called Sex or Next. So
Hmm.
there you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
I'm sure.
Uh, Very interesting conversations they was having, but it was awesome. It was awesome with the guests. Sterling Sharp was there. Stephen A. Smith came. Deion Sanders came there as well. It was just a plethora of people in that, and that's what we heard about the MVP. The whole theater erupted when they heard that Josh Allen won MVP over Lamar Jackson, which was
Yeah.
crazy. That was crazy to me, but nonetheless, I digress. Talk to me about the NFL Honors Show and how that was, because that was an exclusive event. Everybody couldn't go to that.
The NFL Honors was so good. It was just such a different perspective. Like you watch it on TV, but to like really experience it from the red carpet, at least, I was not
Mhm.
able to go in the show. They had the media in a room, and we watched it from there. And for
Mhm.
every winner, they would come in. The media would be able to ask them like a question or two, however long, and then it really worked out because that person, whoever the winner was, I guess for example, after Jane won, which after Jane Daniels had won Offensive Rookie of the Year, he
Yeah.
came in. They asked him a couple questions, and of course, Jane is a local guy for us as well. So asked a couple questions. They had escorted him out, and then we were able to do another little media scrum. We were able to ask him a couple questions away from everyone else, so it worked out great. And luckily, I've covered Jaden. Me and my coworker have covered Jaden at LSU, so it wasn't hard at all to just do what we do. Um, so NFL honors from that perspective was fine, but the red carpet was dope.
I could imagine.
It
I
was
could
dope.
imagine.
Just kind of being able to talk to some people that I don't talk to on a regular. A lot of the people I did talk to are Saints, so it worked out. I know the guys; they're familiar with me as well. So no, it worked out. It was just a super dope experience. It was hot.
I,
It was hot though.
I was gonna say the all week there, it was in the 70s.
Yeah,
Absolutely
which
beautiful.
it was very beautiful all week. I'm so thankful
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
New Orleans had showed out. But that night, you could tell that everybody walking down the red carpet was hot as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. And when I came back to Minnesota and it was 21 degrees, I said, Lord have mercy.
You
I
got
said,
humbled.
oh, yeah, I got humbled real fast. I had to put layers on. When I got off the plane in New Orleans that night, I had to take layers off because it
Right.
was so hot. So I
Yeah.
feel that. Did you get a chance to go to the media party
I did. I popped
that
in
we
and
had
popped
on
out.
Tuesday?
I popped in and
Oh,
popped out.
okay, okay. So listen,
Mhm.
Megan, this is my first time trying New Orleans food. Now, when I was
First
there,
time.
first time ever, because I never been to New
Wow.
Orleans prior to
Okay.
this trip.
Yeah.
So they had a little station set up, and I think I tried some piquant, is what they call it, alligator.
Mhm.
That was different. I ain't gonna lie, but it tastes real good. It was really good. It was hot. It was hell hot. I was like, Lord have mercy. Even trying to blow it, it was still hot, but it was good. But the best thing that I tried there was the shrimp and grits. My gosh,
Yeah.
Lord have mercy. They make they grits so good and shrimp so good. I'm not even a seafood
Yep.
person. It was excellent. It was
Yep.
amazing. No doubt about it. Did you get a chance to try any of the foods? I mean, obviously you're from there, so you know. But did you try any of their foods that they cooked?
I did. Had some jambalaya well, before I say
Ooh,
that, everything's per usual to me, but the jambalaya was really good. And that's a spot that I've never been to, and I forgot who it was, but I took a picture so I can go back. Um, but the jambalaya was really good. I had a beignet
mhm.
burger, which was new to me.
Oh my
I've heard of
goodness.
it, but I wouldn't try it any other day. So it was really good. I had some shrimp pasta. Like everything was good. I had some shrimp pasta. I believe. Oh, I had an oyster toast. That was good.
Okay,
Um,
okay.
and yeah, no, I just want to say is like I'm originally not from New Orleans. I am from Louisiana, but
Yeah.
um I like to that perspective. I think I like that you enjoyed, and I know that a lot of people enjoyed it. You have national media members talking about how New Orleans was just such a great host. The weather was beautiful. Everything is walkable. They showed out. Of course, a lot of people know that Caesars Superdome had been remodeled within the last year, so it was
Hmm.
just perfect timing. Look, these roads out here are new just for the Super Bowl. Because of course there are potholes everywhere else. But anywho, but to that point, the food was great. I just think that New Orleans definitely like flex their muscles in this one. So that's glad to hear. I'm glad to hear that you enjoyed as well.
Absolutely. No question about it. The media party was solid. Trying to jambalaya myself. I did try that. When I got to the line of the beignet burger, they said they were sold out. So I was mad as
No.
hell, but that's
Yeah.
okay. I went to the Cajun food truck that they
Yep.
had there. Oh my gosh. I mean, that was so good. So I left there being very pleased that night. I did have a beignet, but
hmm
they was a little shiesty on the powder at first. I'm like, put that powder on there now.
Yeah.
Come
Yeah.
on now.
You got to
But
get it. You got to get it real covered.
hello, and I did, and it was very good. It was very good. I tried the beignet. I loved it. The other thing that I wanted to try was the gumbo. There was
Okay.
sausage and chicken gumbo.
hmm
Oh
Right
my
now.
lord.
Yeah.
Mm. I almost listen. This is what happened, Megan. I ate the first because they had them in bowls. You remember they had them lined up in bowls at the media party.
hmm
So okay, I ate the first one, and then I went back there for the second one, and I almost knocked somebody over trying to grab the bowl, and I didn't pay no attention to nobody else. I just paid attention to the bowl. And I was trying
Beeline.
to get to
Yeah.
tunnel vision for real. I was trying to get to that bowl, and she was like, "Oh my gosh!" I was like, "I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm sorry. I just got to get to it." I'm sorry. I got to get to
hmm
it. But it was so good, and I really enjoyed myself. Talk to me about the Super Bowl, the actual game of being there, of witnessing that. That was a total domination of
Yeah.
a game between the Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs, which surprised a lot of people. Also, give me your perspective on the halftime show. That has been a
Okay.
hot topic conversation for the past couple of days.
And I'm so tired of talking about it. But I a transparent moment is one, I've been very blessed to have covered some big events in my life, like national championships and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But I mean, the Super Bowl is the Super Bowl. And so Sunday was actually a very emotional day for me in terms of, like, wow, it's really here.
it's a
And then
wild
I got
moment.
I got emotional again right before the game started. I saw them doing I saw the teams running out onto the field and stuff like this. So it was just phenomenal to see. But
Yeah,
but no, the atmosphere was crazy. Like I said, how Caesar Superdome has been renovated. And as a media member, I'm not typically on that side of the Superdome. So
yeah,
I was actually they rerouted where media members go and stuff like that, basically. So it was at times where I was like out there with the fans and stuff to get to the press box. And so I'm seeing them turn up and this one usher, she said, oh, I'm so tired of them spelling Eagles. This is before the game started. She says, I'm so tired of them spelling Eagles. I said, ma'am, you might want to buckle up. It's going to be a long night for you. um, but just seeing the lights and I didn't see it with my own eyes, but I'm assuming they must have given everyone like the little lighter bracelets like they do for concerts. So I didn't see the one for the Chiefs running out, but I saw the one for the Eagles running out. And I was just like so amazed that this is the atmosphere that I'm in. This is the atmosphere that New Orleans is providing. I believe we spoiled some people out here.
you
And
did.
so no, the game was great. The game was great. It was totally not my prediction. I didn't
Right,
predict anything, but I always have the saying that ever since Patrick Mahomes proved me wrong against Buffalo 2 years ago, I said never again will I doubt Pat. I'm not saying the
right,
Eagles couldn't have won. I'm just saying
right.
I don't doubt Pat. So to see that play out like that, and I think they had 38 offensive yards in the first half or something like that. It
Yeah,
was
they
I
did.
I'm talking to luckily the Super Bowl took care of the local media out here. So a lot of the people I was sitting around are my other colleagues from other stations. And so we're watching the game and I kept doing this like, oh my God, he got sacked. Oh my God, he got sacked again. Oh my God,
Mhm,
this is a pick six. I couldn't believe
mhm.
what I was watching.
Right, right.
Um, and no, it was just a crazy game, honestly. And to see that the kind of back to the Kellen Moore conversation, to see that they were able to contain Saquon, I'm so glad he was still able to get that record. But I didn't think he wasn't going to get it. It was only 30 rushing yards. But to
Right.
see the Chiefs being able to to take the run game away, essentially, and Jalen Hurts still rises to the occasion. If Jahan Dotson, wasn't short of the goal line, that impressed me. I said, "Okay, Kellen, I see what you're doing." Now, I said a bunch of people's
Mm.
parlays got messed up on this
They
touchdown, but
sure
he
did.
called it back. AJ Brown said a great game. Like I said, Devontae Smith, who was the leading receiver that night. So that impressed me from the offensive standpoint. From the defensive standpoint, Vic Fangio, the defensive coordinator, started his career
Yeah,
with the Saints, which was
he did.
another local angle for us. So I talked to him afterwards and just asked him how special, or if it was special for him to win in
Right.
the city where he started his career. And he said, yeah, it had a little special to it, even though he's been gone for like 30 years. Um, but I I I didn't doubt the Eagles at all. I wouldn't say that at all. It was time for Saquon for sure. And I like people getting their lick back, I'll admit. Um, but did I see it happening in that fashion?
Oh,
Six
no
sacks,
one did.
a pick six. Like I wouldn't have been able to. No,
No
not at
one
all.
did.
Xavier Worthy
Uh,
gets what, 2 touchdowns? Like, no, it was crazy.
Absolutely. No doubt about it. The atmosphere was just electric. It was one of those once in a lifetime experiences. Like it's hard to explain. Like you have to be
Yeah.
there on the field. You have to be there, like not just on the field, but just in the arena to even know what we're talking about between you and I.
Mhm.
The halftime performance, a lot of subliminal messages that Kendrick Lamar had. Now, for
Yeah.
me, I loved it because I know
Yeah.
what I'm in tune. I'm woke. I know exactly what's going on with everything that he was talking about. But you had a lot of people that was disappointed with his halftime performance. Let me get your perspective on what you think about it.
Well, so one, I loved it. Let me start there. I'm a K Dot fan, and I'm also a Drake fan. Two things could be true at
Okay.
once.
Yeah,
So, from
absolutely.
my perspective, no, it was a great show. Now, I did say I wanted to go back and watch the TV version because I was upstairs watching it.
Yep.
So I did that last night, which I guess is perfect timing for this conversation. So I did that last night, and I said, "Wow, I'm doubling down on the fact that this was a great performance." um, but the thing is, I almost tweeted this and I decided to change my mind, but I guess I'll say it now. I thought about it last night. I said, with Kendrick, you don't everybody doesn't understand him. He is, I guess
He different.
this is a bad example considering the situation, but Lil Wayne has a song Misunderstood is forever years old. And I think that Kendrick is just misunderstood. But I also think that Kendrick is for the people. He's not for everybody. And that just is what it is. And I've said from the
Absolutely.
jump that I think Apple Music and the Super Bowl committee, whoever makes that decision, did it right. You always, not maybe not always, but a lot of the times you're gonna strike whoever is hot at the time. Kendrick is hot at the time. Not only did he drop Not Like Us, and of course all the beef that's going on, but between time he just drops an album, a random album, a month ago, maybe 2 months ago.
A couple
Um,
months ago, yeah.
and so I think as a Kendrick fan, do I wish he would have performed some old stuff? Like I really wanted him to perform all right. Yes. But do I get why he performed the newer stuff and the stuff that he has with SZA? Absolutely. I think that it was a lot of symbolism in it. I think it was a lot of woke in it, to your point. And I don't
Hmm.
expect some people from Kansas City to understand his message, but I understand us to understand the message. So,
Hello.
so I don't.
Hello.
I loved it.
I absolutely loved it. I love the Samuel Jackson coming out as Uncle Sam. I love
Mhm.
that. That was amazing. That was great.
And see, I
Serena.
saw pictures of Serena out there.
Yep.
I
Yep.
didn't know until I watched last night.
Yep. Yep.
I knew
I
Mustard had
did.
came on stage. I couldn't see it from where I was, but yeah,
Right. And I did exactly. I did not know Serena and Mustard was on the stage. I did know SZA because she was singing. Yeah, obviously we
right,
could hear her voice. But I was like, SZA, Serena, okay, Uncle Sam and Samuel Jackson.
yeah,
Okay, turn the TV off. When he looked back at the camera, he said, "Say Drake." And he smiled straight into the camera. I was like,
yeah,
"There's so many messages going on here that y'all don't understand." When he
right.
popped out of nowhere, and I saw the TV version on Peekaboo, and he was like, "Peekaboo," and he just popped
Mhm.
out of nowhere and did that. It was such a classic performance of, like you said, symbolism, subliminal messages, his music. He just came off a 5 Grammy night win the previous
Mhm.
Sunday. So he was the hottest thing smoking, and he is. There's no question about that.
Absolutely.
So I love
And
that.
I've seen Kendrick before on the Damn tour, and that was maybe 2018, I believe. Had to
Yeah.
be like
Yeah.
2018. And he performed some throwbacks then, but I knew that Kendrick was a great performer. And at that time, people was like heavily calling him Kung Fu Kenny at that time too. I know they still do from time to time, but
Right.
that was a good performance to me then. So I knew, look, he only got 13-ish minutes, but I know that he's gonna do whatever. He's gonna
He
make
gonna
the
kill it.
most of his 13 minutes. And
Absolutely.
so and then my other thing is, and some people might not appreciate this, but it is what it is. Look, don't have rules. So if you give the disser, I guess, a platform to diss the dissee, it is what
Right.
it is. Like,
I mean, hey, listen, all's fair in battle. So,
all's
you know what I'm
fair.
saying?
Like,
All is fair in battle. And,
oh,
and listen, that battle is not going to be ending anytime soon, although we do think there is a clear-cut winner in that battle.
absolutely.
That's going to be an ongoing thing between them two. Something tells me they just going to have one of those Magic and Isaiah sit-downs. But Magic Johnson, Isaiah sit-downs one of
Right.
these days and look back
Right.
at it. I think that's gonna happen. That's just my opinion, though. You also got some news not only with the Saints but with the Pelicans. Had a huge trade on that basketball team that happened this past week with Brandon Ingram heading to
Mhm.
Toronto. That was a shocker because I definitely thought
Was it?
Zion. You said it wasn't?
I'm asking you, was it a shock?
Yeah, yeah. To me, because listen, and maybe I'm not in tune with the Pelicans as much, but I thought Zion would go first before Ingram. In my opinion, because we all know, or we all speculate. We don't know. We speculate Zion doesn't really want to be with the Pelicans. That's just my opinion. Now they did pay him a huge contract. I get that, and it's probably hard to move. But I was shocked to see that not that New Orleans is making moves because they're not a very good team, but for Ingram to go before Zion, yeah, I was shocked.
Wow. No, I forgot where I was. That I know for a fact I was not at work. If that game was a Thursday, then I definitely wasn't at work. But oh, I was at NFL honors. That's what it was. No. BI getting traded was no surprise. No surprise.
Okay.
And I don't even have just like this crazy reason. I just had a feeling. I mean, well, I take that back. The conversations, like BI getting traded, had been a part of conversations. It was just a lingering conversation. Like,
Okay.
oh, like killing Moore to the Saints. Okay, that was probably a 2-week lingering conversation.
Right.
BI getting traded was probably like a 2-month conversation or even more. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like if the Pels have to make some moves, we knew that BI was probably going to be a part of it. I know we let Daniel Tice go as well, but no, Bi
He
getting
did.
moved was no surprise. I know that mm, maybe the fans, in a sense, might have some fans. Let me not say, I don't want to speak for all. Might have
Right.
wanted
Right.
Zion to be moved on because, of course, the best ability is availability. He just has not
Yeah.
been available.
Right.
But you make that same notion for Brandon Ingram as well. Brandon hadn't played since early December. And I had talked about that in a report yesterday or the other day, about him not being available because, in a sense, the silver lining for David Griffin has been, oh, Brandon Ingram hadn't played, but Trey Murphy been hooping. He's had way more opportunities for the Pels. And I mean, he's triggered Trey for a reason. So, no, it was no surprise.
Well, well, that means Brandon Ingram got expendable. But now Trey Murphy has increased his game. You have
Yeah.
DeJounte Murray on the team, which you
Yes.
traded for him, right? You got CJ McCollum. McCollum's getting up there a little bit of age, but he's still balling. He's still out there
Mhm.
balling. So they do have some good players on that team, but it's just a matter of do you have the players that fit together on that team?
The Pels, if I'm not mistaken, my number has had 29 different lineups, which is like the fifth most in the league.
That's
So,
not good.
so to your point, they're not playing. They're not playing together. And now
Right.
DeJounte is out for the season, which is so unfortunate. It's such a heartbreaking, unfortunate situation because
Right.
you could tell he was all in from the jump. Um, but Yeah, they have so many different lineups. And look, it was a conversation about the Pels having high rotations last year, but we're on the midway through the season. Like we hadn't even gotten an All-Star weekend yet. Um, so yeah. I mean, they have not all really played together, and obviously it's just hard for a team to mesh when everyone is not on the same page.
I totally agree, Megan. I really do. And obviously, the Pelicans are probably going to be a lottery pick. I'm not really going out on a limb saying that,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
but obviously there's going to be a good player that comes into their rotation. Getting DeJounte back next year, things can look a little bit different. I just thought that Zion would be moved first before Bi. Now Bi just signed a 3-year, $120 million extension with the
Mhm.
Raptors, so they obviously got a lot of confidence in Bi to bounce back. But with him being 27 years old, he's just entering his prime. So I can totally understand that. Plus, they got Scotty Barnes over there. They got Quickly over there and Barrett. They're gonna have a squad too. They look like they're squadding up really too over there with Toronto. So and I don't know
Absolutely.
how many players are going to stay with the New Orleans with the ones they traded. I believe Olenek. Well,
Mhm.
no, I think Olenek is
Yep.
one. I think no, it's
Yes.
Bruce
Yeah,
Brown.
yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. Bruce
Yep.
Brown is another one too that came over, I
Mhm.
believe. So I don't
Yeah.
know how many of those players are going to stay with New Orleans, but I'm looking to see what David Griffin does because he can build. He can build championship teams. We know that. Hopefully, he'll give Willie Green some time to be able to do that. I hope Willie is going to be staying there because that'd be great. I think he's a great coach for sure.
Yeah. And I mean, don't get me wrong, like I appreciate BI. And I think that BI is a great player. It's just
Yeah,
the consistency would just kind of and it's like when
ebb
he
and
on,
flow.
he on, but when he off, he off. You know,
I feel
I think
that.
he has a lethal mid range. I know that always kind of follows him. And I mean, like I
Absolutely.
said yesterday, we can cook from the three when he on. So um I hope that he flourishes in another system if that's what it takes.
Absolutely. No question. I gotta ask you some rapid fire questions. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm gonna
I'm
switch it up
nervous.
a little bit. We'll come back to the sports. 'Cause I got a few more things to talk to you about sports, but I want to switch it up and ask you some rapid fire questions. The first thing that comes to your mind, you shout it out with glee. Okay, so here we go.
Okay.
Burgers or tacos?
Burgers,
Okay. Chicken or ribs?
chicken,
Okay. Pancakes or waffles?
waffles,
What is Megan's favorite color?
red,
What is Megan's favorite TV show, Netflix series, or TV show?
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air,
Hello. Okay. I'm with you on that. All right. Favorite alcoholic drink?
Crown and Coke.
Okay. Classic. Favorite sandwich?
Favorite sandwich? Oh, now I'm thinking, huh? Probably chicken with probably like a buffalo chicken sandwich.
Okay. I'm with you on that. Favorite board game?
Has to be a board game.
Yeah. Favorite board game?
Board game. That's different. Checkers.
That could be. I mean, you play on a board. That's true. We can do that. Okay. Favorite card game?
Uno.
Okay. If you had a choice to listen to 3 artists or 3 songs that you can
Ooh,
listen to on repeat, which 3 artists or 3 songs would you choose?
Drake is definitely one of them.
Okay.
I gotta pick from different genres. I think that's fair. So I'm gonna say Drake. I'm probably gonna say Frankie Beverly and Maze,
Okay.
and then Kirk Franklin.
That is definitely 3 different, Megan. There's no question about that. But those
I
are
got different
all bops.
genres.
All bops. I like that. If you had a choice to choose 3 people plus you to go on vacation, who would those 3 people be and where would you go? Now, Megan, you can choose family, friends, or celebrities.
Okay. Well, I'm picking my family, so I'd say my mom, my dad, and then my boyfriend.
Okay. And where would y'all go?
Where would we go? Where would we go? Probably somewhere in Mexico. Something close. I'm not a person that likes to be on a plane that long.
I totally understand that. I do. If you're going to Tulum, if you're going to Cabo, or if you're going to Cozumel, hit your boy up. because I've been there and I can give you
Mm-hmm.
some tips. No
For
doubt
sure.
about that. All right. That's for sure. Okay. What sport would you play that you would absolutely dominate in?
At this age. Whew. I mean, I'm a runner, so I'd say running maybe.
Okay. Which sport would
So
you
track
play that
rather.
you would absolutely suck in?
Uh, Soccer.
Okay. Okay. If they said to you, Megan, you can only do one of these for the rest of your career, that's be an anchor or be a reporter, which one would you choose?
A reporter.
You was very quick on that one. Okay.
I like to be in the action.
I got you. I got you. Okay. I like that. I like that. So I want to get back into you did really well on rapid fire, by the way. I just wanted to kind of switch it up and change it up a little bit because we're talking about sports here. Now we talked about the Saints, right? And we've talked about the Pelicans. Let me get your thought process on the All-Star game format. How do you like that All-Star game format?
I'm gonna be honest. I've been so caught up with Super Bowl, I don't even know what the All Star format is right now. It's a new one.
It is. It is.
Oh.
So basically, Chuck, Kenny, and Shaq
Uh-huh.
had drafted teams from the
Oh
24
wow.
players. Yeah, from the 24 players. So 8 players is on each team.
Okay.
And they're playing against the team that wins in the Rising Stars competition.
Okay.
So it's going to be a total of 4 teams, and they're going to match up against each other in the format.
Okay. Wow. That's that's a way to keep it spicy.
Yeah, right. It's very different, right? To
It's a way to
me,
keep
I
it
think
fun for
I
sure.
don't like it. I don't like it at all. I'm like, listen, I wish y'all just go back to the throwbacks of the All-Star games, put the red and the white jerseys on. I love that. That's what I love. Because you
Yeah.
playing, you having a good time, it's meaningful, and you playing hard. Now these All-Star games getting up to 250 points. I mean, look, what? That's
Yeah.
crazy. That's a little wild for me. But
What it
that's just my
does what it does sort of remind me of is um like how the Pro Bowls have been I mean
oh
essentially
Lord.
watered down. I know
Yeah.
yeah. That's what it sounds like.
Hmm. It does. It is. I'm listening. The only All-Star game that I actually like is the MLB All-Star game. That's the only
Mhm.
one I actually like, and the Home Run Derby. But they ain't
Yeah.
water it down. That's the one I really love to do, which I'm hopeful I get to do it this year because it's
Mhm.
in a very special place this year, which is in Atlanta, Georgia, which
Yeah.
is where I went to school at, where my family lives. So that'd be amazing if I get the chance to go for
I hope
sure.
so.
Yeah, me too. Me too. It'd be amazing. I want to ask you about LSU.
Okay.
Now LSU football team. I need you to educate me a little bit on LSU because I know it's a Brian Kelly led team,
Mhm.
but LSU had some tough losses this year, but they
Yeah.
didn't have a terrible year. It just wasn't as good because now with the SEC being toppled on with teams on top of teams, you fighting for crumbs now because it's an expanded league. Talk
Right.
to me about LSU and maybe some things that people can look positively going into next season.
Um, Me and one of my good friends, also he's also a reporter out here as well. We've had the conversation of I think I think the margin of error for coaches is so thin.
Yeah,
Um, but I also the conversation was that look, LSU doesn't have that guy like me and you talked about earlier. They don't have a honey badger right now.
right, right. Or Jaden Daniels or something
Or
like
Jane
that.
Daniels,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
Or, three of your to that point, I mean, three of your best guys get drafted in the same year, and they're all up for offensive rookie of the year. I think that's something now obviously Jane was running away with that, but I think that's
yeah,
something to be proud of what LSU produces. How they did this year, they did not pull off a 10-win season. And I think that's okay. What some of those losses unacceptable? They shouldn't have lost to Florida. The way that they lost to Alabama, they shouldn't have lost the same way that they did last year. Um,
Oh boy, yeah, that was rough.
were-
That was a rough one.
Absolutely. Were some of those losses inexcusable? Sure. But did LSU like hit rock bottom? No. But the other part of our conversation was we think LSU, I mean not LSU, we think Brian Kelly showed success too early. Because if you remember, LSU had went to the SEC championship game in Brian Kelly's first year. So
They
it's like
did.
he is capable of doing it. Well, then you don't do it for the next what, 2 seasons. So
Yep,
I think that might have been like that saying, like you showed your hand early. But I don't think Brian Kelly is the problem. The defense was terrible the year before last. It was just not LSU standards defense. Brian Kelly fired Matt House after that. You bring in some more people this year. It's still not up to par. They're a little better. But it still is not the LSU standard. And even at quarterback, I think Gary Nussmeier is a great quarterback. Do I think he needed time to develop? Yeah, but
absolutely. Yeah,
everybody needs time to develop. So no, I don't. I think LSU had. I mean, it goes without saying they had a mid year, but I think they still went like 9-4 if I'm not mistaken, 9-4 with the bowl game. So
yeah,
um,
absolutely,
so I think
absolutely,
that's a team. They'll build on it. They'll learn from it. They'll understand the standard. But LSU did really good in this offseason with the transfer portal. And that's what I'm very interested to see. They got some Power 5 guys to come over there. And then also commending Brian Kelly, him and his wife started a foundation where my number might be off, but they were basically putting money into an NIL and matching some funds as well. So I mean, he's on the NIL train just as bad as other people are. And these players want to get paid these days. So
absolutely,
you gotta be
absolutely.
willing to pay if you want some dogs.
Can I ask you what was your favorite moment of covering the LSU Tigers team this year?
This year. This year. Oof. My favorite part of
I,
Ole Miss. The Ole Miss game.
yeah, I was about to say, yeah,
The Ole Miss game. I'm talking about that game was I had so the game was on our station. It was on ABC. And
yeah,
when the games are airing on, well, of course the SEC is on ABC. But when it's a night game, then we're going live after that game. So, the game somehow goes in overtime. I knew exactly what I was gonna say on air because I had called it. Well, the game goes into overtime at 10:48. So it's already running behind. And then, Gary Nussmeier probably makes the throw of his life to Kyron Lacey, and it's game over. And now these kids are flooding the field. The fans are flooding the field. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm about to be in the mix of this. And I got to go on air ASAP. Um, so no, that was a great game. LSU trailed literally the entire game until that touchdown.
they did, and that was a very good game. Do you ever get worried when you're on the field and you see those people coming out and storming out?
That was my first time in
Oh my
or at
goodness,
least at LSU. I've been in another one, but not to discredit that school, but it's nothing like LSU. So that was my first time being in a crowd storming situation, and yeah, my nerves got a little bad because I've been covering LSU for some years, and I know those fans get riled up, and so to see that, I was like, oh, I need to get to the other side of this field as fast as possible. But I took videos, I relished in it, and I said, yeah, this is one for the ages.
I got you. So listen, I need a top four from you. Okay. And the
Okay.
top four is I need a top four things to do when I come back to New Orleans
Okay.
because I'm definitely gonna be coming back. Now, my man that took me to the airport, he said Mardi Gras. And I was like, okay, all right, I feel you on that. He said, but don't come the first week of Mardi Gras. You got to come the second week because it lasts 3 weeks. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, okay. So he said Mardi Gras. So I need a top four from you. What should I do when I touch back down in New Orleans?
I'm gonna agree with your buddy there. Definitely come back for not for New Orleans. Definitely come back for Mardi Gras. I'm not
Okay.
sure about the second week and all of that. I would totally say come back the weekend before Lundi Gras, which is Fat Tuesday. I'm sorry. Mardi Gras day, which is on a Tuesday.
Okay.
Lundi Gras is Monday, excuse me. I would say either come that weekend and stay through Tuesday, or at least experience the Tuesday in itself. It's
Mm,
not really much of a difference. Of course, some people who don't live in New Orleans, they take off that weekend and come down. But either way, it's just a party all day.
I'm with that.
Yeah, it's a party all day. It's crazy. It's hectic. So that's one. My second one would be I go to Essence Fest every year. Um, I love Essence. This is no particular. Well, Mardi Gras is definitely my number one. The rest of them are in no particular order. Um,
Okay.
Definitely Essence Fest. Essence Fest is just like ah, it's just like a beautiful depiction of a bunch of Black people who are successful in one
I love
area.
that.
Music, culture, food, concerts. I love it. Fashion, like it's just a lot. I would suggest that. I would totally say a Saints game.
Mm,
More
okay.
specifically, maybe a rivalry game. So if I had to pick one, I'd say the Falcons off rip. Um,
Of course. Of course. Yep.
I'd say losing season or not, depending on what time of the what time of the year that specific year would be, the Saints
Yes.
fans are going to show out regardless. If the Saints are, knock on something, if the Saints are 0-6, but week 7 is the Falcons, the stadium will probably still be packed. Um, that's how big it is. And
I
someone
love it.
who
I
was
love
in
that.
Atlanta, you know the rivalry.
Yes, indeed.
So that's 3. I got one more.
Yes, one more.
Um, Another thing to do. So I wouldn't even pick a season. Maybe I would just say, just come down and eat some good food. I mean, try the streetcar. The streetcar is underrated.
I've
But
seen that out there. I wanted to
yeah,
try it so bad, but it was surrounded.
yeah, yeah. And that's probably because all the streets have been blocked off too. It's underrated. Like even I had wrote it the day of the Sugar Bowl because they had blocked off streets of Bourbon and stuff at that time. But we had wrote it downtown as far as we could, and it's just on a beautiful day. You can't beat it. It's $2. You just get to look at the city from a different perspective as if you were actually driving. Hop off, go try some good food in the French Quarter or something, or around
Oh
St.
yeah,
Charles. Um,
absolutely.
yeah, maybe
I
on
feel that.
maybe honorable mention would be to peruse the French Quarter during the day.
Absolutely. Yes, I did go to Caesar's. I did go to the Caesar's Casino.
Yep, I
Ended
heard
up
it was
winning.
packed.
Oh yeah, it was definitely packed. I went there Wednesday night because that was the only night that I didn't have something to like do. Because
Hmm.
obviously Monday was opening night, Tuesday was media party.
Right.
And then Wednesday they had the women in symposium. They had like a women's meeting that I went to and
Hmm.
built some more connections there. But
Yeah.
after 7 o'clock, we were free. So I went to the Caesars casino. I lost
Mhm.
$150. But then with my last $50, I won 500.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I walked up out of there. It was time to go.
Oh yeah, it's time. Yeah.
It was time to go. I went and got me some chicken, and we was good. Went back to the hotel, and it was great. So
Yeah.
yes, I definitely checked that out. Canal Street, French Quarter, Bourbon
Yep.
Street, all that was off the hook and chain. So I will be back there for sure.
Yeah.
Um, I definitely loved having this conversation with you and catching up with you and being able to
No, it's
talk some
great.
New Orleans sports, being able to talk different things. Now the next time we gotta get on here, I want to have an NFL special with you. That's what I want to do.
Okay.
So I want to be able to talk not only just New Orleans, but I want to get your thoughts on maybe some of the upcoming games when the schedule drops after the draft. We'll have more information with what the Saints took and other teams, and we could do a special like that. I would love that with you.
For sure. No, that'd be great.
Okay. Well, I would definitely keep you in mind. Listen, you take care. Enjoy your rest of your Wednesday there in Louisiana. You know I'll keep my eyes on you. Please keep in touch, Megan, as you're one of the best to be doing it in this industry. Okay.
No, I appreciate you. It was good talking to you again.
Yes, indeed. Take care now.
Take care.